And hello. We're back.
Hi.
That's it?
You've got black beans on your teeth.
Good. I'm leaving them there.
Ugh.
Because the last thing that we recorded, you had pizza in your teeth.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
No, because we didn't have pizza last night.
It was it was what did we eat?
Barbecue?
It was barbecue. You had barbecue in your teeth.
I don't think so.
You did.
No.
It's okay.
No.
It's okay, Steph.
No. You're in
well,
trouble.
that's Steph. I am not in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
That's Stephanie.
And that is Jeff.
Uh-huh. And we are, I'm going to do it this time. We are recording a watch and rewatch, or a reaction and rewatch of both of our favorite shows. This is Supernatural, Stephanie's favorite show.
One of my favorite shows.
One of her favorite shows, of course. And this is my first time going through it. And in exchange, after we do season 1 of Supernatural, we're going to switch over to Star Trek, which is one of my favorite shows. So she'll be doing a reaction, and I'll be doing a rewatch. Other thing to consider is that Stephanie works in the industry. So it's kind of fun watching TV with her.
Yeah.
And it just got so much fun that we decided to start capturing it. And it's been fun. Today we watched Supernatural 111, which was titled Scarecrow. Do you want to tell us about it?
Original air date, January 10th, 2006. So we're in 2006 now. Written by John Shaban and Patrick Sean Smith. Directed by Kim Manners.
That name's starting to ring a bell.
Exactly. Summary is that after arguing about the search for their father, Sam and Dean split ways. Sam to continue to the search in California, Dean to hunt the mysterious disappearance of pass-through couples in Indiana.
Indiana, which is very close to where my prediction was at.
Is it Iowa? Yeah.
It was scarecrows. I thought corn, and I couldn't get Iowa off my head, so I was wrong.
No, Kansas was what you couldn't, so we shifted to Iowa.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Wow.
Actually, I think I suggested Iowa.
Oh.
But I didn't do it because I honestly didn't remember where this took place. I didn't know that it was Indiana, so it really had nothing to do with that.
Well, we were in Burkittsville, Indiana, which I forgot to check and see if that's a real place or not.
Yeah.
It seems like teeny tiny town. I'd be surprised.
Apparently only 6 people live there.
Yeah, I know, right? That was a good joke. Yeah, we got in towards the end of it, and holy crap, that was funny. Like, well, of course they had to take this couple. It was the only couple in town. There's only 4 people that live here. That was a good one.
So, opening thoughts?
I liked Asylum better. And there was only one reason. I thought it was a really cool story. I loved how I like how these guys do Monster of the Week, but they tie it into the big story arc. Mm-hmm. I know I keep going back to the big arc. But I like the big arc, and they don't just do one or the other. I know you've described it when we first got started that this is a Monster of the Week episode, but they're really doing a good job, at least right now, of tying them both in. Because this did not feel like a Monster of the Week at first, except for the opening scene where we get to see, random couple that we don't know gets killed by random monster that we don't know. But then it goes straight into big arc, and here's the beloved, the one and only Mr. Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
I'm surprised you didn't like this one more because Jeffrey Dean Morgan
started that way. Yeah, it did. It really did start that way. Now, my beef was at the end. Everything just wrapped up so easily. Literally so easily. The 3 of them just had to stand around with shotguns pointed at them, and then they were done. That was it. I mean, it was almost like a big thank you to the Scarecrow at the end. It was like, good, you got them, we're good. Thank you so much. See you next year.
Well, I think the point is that it wasn't really a Monster of the Week episode at all. It was a story arc episode.
That is true. Yeah.
So. But
I did really like all the rest of it. It just wrapped up so nice and peacefully. That actually Emily's adopted parents might disagree.
Yeah. Yes.
But yeah.
And the whole town that's now going to die.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I wanted to see the fight. I wanted to see some kind of struggle. But it wasn't. It was just everybody's pointing guns at these people, and I'm surprised that Dean didn't put 2 and 2 together. They're not going to shoot him.
Well,
but
he has a fighting chance in theory and he did, and
yeah. All he had to do was nothing.
He would have come up with a plan. You heard
working
him.
on it.
You heard him. He was working on it.
Man after my heart.
I was literally multiple times in this episode, both the I'm working on it and the when Sam was like, you were dead. And he was like, no, I was going to get out. I had a plan or whatever it was, whatever it is that he said.
Yeah.
I was like, that is quintessential Jeffrey Brown. Like, that is exactly how you act. Like, you pretend like you know everything and put on this front, but like it's an obvious front. Like, no. I totally have that.
I'm always working on a plan.
Uh-huh.
I stay 2 steps ahead of the game. That's why it always seems like I know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Except for those times that you don't, and then you still say that you do.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Point made.
See, because even when I don't get to exercise the plan, I'm about to do something.
Uh-huh.
See, that's the point. Dean gets it. You didn't get it.
Yeah. Dean, the one that you keep on saying, just laughs in the face of trauma.
Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, our Mr. Dean, who committed another crime, got kicked out of the town, told to leave by law enforcement, turns around at nightfall and comes back in. Now, granted, he's still, what?
Is it actually a crime, though? Because he didn't actually commit a crime. He was just like, he was just kind of bullied out.
It's a fair point.
Because I think if you actually went to a court of law, they would be like, well, why was he kicked out of town? Well, because we didn't like him. He was just, a nuisance. It's like, well, but did he break any laws? Well, no.
I wonder. Yeah, you're probably right.
Although in this corrupt town, he probably would have been thrown in jail, but that's beside the point.
That is fair that this is law enforcement.
Well,
that
yeah, but
removed him from the town.
Well, but law enforcement obviously can be corrupt.
Yeah, but how?
And you said it yourself, small town laws, quote unquote laws.
Oh, for sure. No, I'm not advocating for the cop in this case, but I'm trying to figure out.
It's not actually a law, but it's...
Yeah, aside from the other felonies that he is obviously that is
committed. A fair point, actually. He is a criminal.
If they had run him, he could have been there for the whole downfall of town, the county jail.
That is fair. They would be like, well, what did he do wrong? Well, nothing here, sir. However...
we ran his prints, and it broke the computer.
As it turns out, we have caught a multi-state felon.
We're just trying to figure out where to extradite him first.
Yes.
That's the problem. So he's going to hang out here. We're going to watch the downfall of this community, and then we're going to let him go. No, that was a fair point. That was a fair point.
I don't know why that happened.
Stephanie's phone just started talking, and it was Dean, so he got something to say.
Christy sent me something.
Our research assistant.
Our executive producer. You bring it upon yourself. When you call her a research assistant, you bring on the backlash.
That's what we discussed in the first place. In the first episode.
It wasn't the first episode, but...
It started in the first episode, and you called her the executive producer in the second episode.
I don't think so, because we didn't have any notes yet in the first episode. Do you want to rewind the tape?
I was listening to the second one today.
Yeah, but the first one we didn't call Christy our research assistant.
I did. Nah.
No, I don't think so. Anyway, back to the episode.
So take it back to the beginning. The illustrious Jeffrey Dean Morgan finally gets speaking role for the first time since the pilot.
Yeah, this is by far the most amount of dialogue he's had since the beginning. Since
he had the bit at the end of Home.
Yeah, he did, and that still wasn't very much. It was like 5 lines.
She had more.
Yeah,
she had more dialogue, but she was also reading his mind, so he didn't have to talk that much. But anyway, so this was a good one. He finally got to talk. We got so much information, which was great. I did find his establishment of the authority, his establishment of the militaristic hierarchy. He's like, this is what you need to do. I've given you an order. As though this is the establishment. And
Sam just blows right through it, gives 0 fucks.
Yep.
And then when Dean takes over the phone, he's like, Dad, where are you? He's going in the same Sam mode. Like, Dad, like, where are you? Like, I'm on this. Let's work together. And then he's like, I have an order for you. And he's like, and immediately, I don't know if you were watching at this point, immediately Dean's face changed.
It went into the programmed mode. You see
went into soldier mode.
Didn't he say yes, sir?
Yeah.
At that point?
Yeah.
Yeah, soldier mode engaged.
Yeah.
And this is years and years of programming, but this is what we've watched.
Wait, Soldier Boy, isn't that his character in The Boys, Jensen Ackles?
I said soldier mode engaged.
Oh, I thought you said Soldier Boy. And I was like, that's kind of funny because that's his character in The Boys, I think.
I think you're right.
I wasn't sure if you did that.
Yeah, I think so. No, I didn't do. No, I totally did it on purpose. I was working on it.
Yeah, that's a Dean comment.
I was working on it.
Uh-huh.
But he did. Yeah, he switched into his programming, which was very, very interesting. And we've talked about this in the last episode too. You can kind of see how this break apart, this schism is occurring between Sam, who was the second soldier to be raised, who was breaking out on his own, who's getting more of the autonomous thinking. He didn't want to do that. He didn't want to follow in the footsteps. And we watched it come to a head. Getting to talk to his dad. And I'm thinking, Dad's got a lot of credit at this point. Where are you? Are you okay? Tell me, this. And he switches right back into work mode. And so there's obviously something huge going on. And Dean switches in. And so they end up in this really bad problem because Sam was driving.
Yeah.
Sam was driving next
Pulled
day.
over, yep.
Pulled over. We don't know where they are at this point, do we?
No. On their way, in theory, on their way to Indiana.
True. Trying to remember where were they? Because remember?
The previous episode.
Exactly. They picked it up from where they left off from the hotel. So assuming their hotel is in the same place, they were in Rockford,
Illinois. Oh, so not very far.
They wouldn't have been very far from Indiana. So, but him going from Rockford to freaking California, he's getting ready for a haul. But yeah, and then the schism, the issue that we were talking about last time came to a head. That Sam is not interested in following in the footsteps with the same methodology. He's not necessarily opposed to fighting, but there can be other things that are more important.
Well, and he said, I don't understand the blind faith you have in the man. And he said, and Dean replied, it's called being a good son.
Oh,
that hurt.
Dagger.
Oh.
For sure. But also nail in the coffin. Because that's when he was done. He got out and started leaving. And started grabbing his bags to get out. So that was rough.
Yeah.
That was rough. I mean, you know it's not going to last. We've got 14 more seasons to go.
Yeah.
But it was
brothers
a big deal
were
at
split
the
up for
moment.
the first time.
Yeah.
I told you for Scarecrow, while we were talking about the last episode in reference to Coming and Scarecrow, I said that, some things start breaking. And that's what I meant, was that the brothers break apart.
Yeah, I wouldn't have expected to be able to team all the way through this the whole time, especially with my running theory that there's something much, much bigger going on here. There's a network of sorts, and that these guys are on somebody's radar. And we got the affirmation of that.
It's true.
Sure.
Because enter my favorite villain, or one of my favorite villains. It's between her and one other person. I think. Maybe three. Top three villains. She's sorry. I'm just trying to make sure I'm not forgetting any. I would say she's definitely my top three villains. She's so freaking cool. I love Meg so much.
Wait, Meg?
Meg is the.
I thought it was May.
No, Meg.
Oh,
Meg.
Well, I gotta fix that.
Meg Masters, in fact, is her last name. They didn't mention it in this episode. They will in the future. Oh, shut up. But yeah, Meg is great, and you're right. She confirmed your theory that other people know about the boys, about this family.
He's striking
because she made her quote unquote
somebody.
phone call talking about about the Winchester brothers.
Yep.
So they're on,
and we find that
some
she
baddie
was actually pursuing.
Yeah.
She was actually pursuing them, which
explains
very,
why
very
he was found on the side of the road by Sam.
Yeah. I was going to ask about that, but it makes so much more sense now. If you've ever been walking on a road in Indiana, Illinois, Nebraska, who knows where the hell he was at this point. These are long ass straightaways. You see somebody, if there's anybody else on the road, you see them 5 miles out. So him for just to be on top of somebody, he should have been more alarmed by that, but he was like, oh, hello, there's a person here with earbuds on.
Well, I think that he had a little bit, like, you could kind of see it in his face, like, what is this person doing here? But I think that he was willing to suspend that cynicism a little bit, just like, well, things do happen, type of thing. But I think I could see in his face that he was a little bit perplexed by it, but then kind of just let it go. Maybe
If they
pretty girl, I don't know.
They could have given us an insert of somebody half a mile down the road just sitting on the side, and then he does his perplexed look. She's oblivious to it the whole time because she's got music in and she's facing the other direction.
Yeah, but
it's tiny thing.
Time is money, man, and that would have been 3 or 4 seconds of screen time.
Well, and we saw from watching the deleted scenes that it looks like they had to cut some time, or it was irrelevant. But I mean, it would have been fine as is.
They probably had to cut some time.
But the deleted scene was from Scotty's Cafe when he was talking to the couple. Sheriff comes in and talks to him, and then they have a little bit of a dialogue about, you want me to leave town, don't you?
Yeah.
And then instead of just baby driving off the road, sheriff driving off the road, turning around and going back in, they let us put the pieces together. Yeah. But it was maybe, 30, 45 seconds that they cut out.
Yeah, something
maybe
like
not that.
Yeah, it was an extended scene, to be clear, not a cut scene. But yeah, I'm sure they cut it for time.
Mm-hmm.
When these air on TV, you have to be down to the second,
Yeah.
So I'm sure they cut it for time.
I get that. And so, yeah, that's what I mean. I had it as an issue. I had it as a bug, not a complaint. But it was easy to toss that out, especially when my whole Meg thing was confirmed. I wrote it in the notes. I was like, Meg, I'm skeptical of you. That's literally my note. Like, I don't think I trust this girl. She's being too nice. She's too quick. And also, it's only been 6 months. Sam doesn't seem the type that he's going to move on that quickly. And he's not going to partner up with someone like that. It didn't quite fit, so it made me very cynical of her.
Yeah, and I just have to point out that the final music of the episode was Bad Company by some band that I am not thinking of right now, but I'm sure in the Netflix version and the Amazon version, it would have been some random bullshit, like MIDI file of some classic rock, and it would have not been Bad Company, which was fitting perfectly because she herself was Bad Company. Just saying.
Those are some feelings.
Yeah. I'm just saying the music makes a difference, man. It makes a difference. And this is the first episode, I think, since the first one we got the DVDs for. Whatever episode that was, that one had a good music moment in it. But it's been 4 or 5 episodes since then, and we haven't had a point in the show where I'm like, oh man, this music. Yep.
I've been 105 or 104.
Yeah, because not every episode is going to have those musical moments. I mean, it's really expensive to have those musical moments. But this is one of them. So I'm happy that we are watching the DVDs, even if we don't get subtitles.
Yep. So Dean coming into town in the first place. That dude is such a sarcastic SOB. It's hilarious. It's so funny. You have a smile that lights up the room.
The guy's just
glaring, unchanged face.
Yeah,
that's the beauty.
I know.
That same face had 4 different messages in it.
That actor did a good job. The guy that played him, he was like John Bonham. Isn't that the drummer for Led Zeppelin? And he just kind of sitting there with his hands up on his chest,
unfazed.
Isn't that the drummer for Led Zeppelin? What can I do you for, John? Just completely.
I know you're lying, but I'm going to go with it anyway. But each time, that same expression emoted something different. That was actually quite good. I really enjoyed that part. But he's just so sarcastic, and it's so great, Dean. But I think we talked about this last time, about how he's just been through so much trauma. Mm-hmm. He is legitimately unfazed. Yeah, we were talking about that with Asylum. He's literally unfazed by fear. He's completely desensitized to fear. Mm-hmm. In most situations.
It's freaking worth it.
I know. And they're sitting there with their hands strapped to the apple trees. Like, what are you going to do? He's like, yeah, I'm working on it. We didn't run out of gas, dude. We're about to be murdered.
You don't have a plan, do you? I'm working on it.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
I like it.
Dean is he's a treasure. He's a national treasure, Dean Winchester. Although I think with a lot of his talk with town people, they were trying to showcase that he needs Sam. The funny thing about that, though, is that I'm like, wait a second. So what the hell did Dean ever do before when he didn't have Sam or his dad around? He just fumbled his way through. Suddenly, when Sam's not there, he can't talk to people I think they overplayed it a little bit, because we've seen Dean talk like a normal human being with people without Sam. So it's a little overplayed, I think, but I appreciate the attempt.
I don't feel like it's overplayed. I'm waiting to see, I mean, I need to see more of it. You've had so much more of it to learn, is this truly a part of his personality, or does he get more sarcastic when he gets nervous? I don't know. We haven't had enough of this, for at least on this watch through, for me to know. But I think it's great. I think it's an excellent little thing, and he's owning it.
Also, shout out, this is the first time that Dean talks about pie. That becomes like a thing for his character of pie. Like, Dean always wants pie. It's like a thing.
Oh, okay.
And this is the first time that Dean asks for pie. He never gets the pie, but he's like, ooh, some of that pie too. Like,
oh yeah,
he wants that pie, but he didn't.
Pie was a lie.
He didn't get pie.
Yeah.
But the future Dean, who is obsessed with pie, would have not let that stand.
Okay, that's fair. We'll keep that in mind. So I do want to say one thing about this family, and I've noticed it with each of them. And it's a plot device. I totally get it. But in the treating them like their reality, I love the resolve that they all have. Like the get it done attitude. Sam completely uplifted his life and left when his dad went missing. Sure. But then they're over here. And he's like, well, I need to go to California. No, I'm not going to take you. And I have the car. Okay. Bye. And he just starts walking. He's just gone. It's like, I'll find a bus. I'll find a plane. All the money that my brother has been peddling from hustling people at pool or whatever. He's just like, all right, cool, peace, done.
They're resourceful. That's the thing. They know that no matter what, they'll be okay. Not no matter what, but you know what I mean. Like, if the biggest problem they have is figuring out how to get across the country by themselves, they're gonna be fine.
Sure.
So there's not this like sense of like, I don't really know how to do this without somebody. Like, I don't want to do this by myself. It's a little scary. Like, there's none of that.
Or yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what I was talking that I refer to, that you would think that somebody else might do. They'll discuss like, hey, take me over here. Well, at least take me to the damn bus station.
Yeah.
Now. If you're going to go on to Indiana, we're just outside of Rockford. So drop me off in Chicago so I can get a plane. I can be in California by tomorrow, or whatever that might look like. He's just like, peace. There's the road. I'm out of here.
I do have to say, though, Sam at no point in time even assumed or asked for Dean to do anything. He didn't,
Mm-hmm.
Dean wasn't like, this is my car, I'm not taking it. There was none of that. He just got out and grabbed his bag.
Yep.
He knew exactly what the writing on the wall was if I don't want to do this, then if I don't want to do whatever Dean wants to do, I just got to go find my own way.
Yeah.
So there was no argument. There was no anything. It was literally, okay, I want to go this way. You want to go that way? I'm grabbing my bag and I'm leaving.
Yep. Bye.
There was no question. There was no argument.
Yep.
There was just, this is what I'm doing. And Dean questioned it. He's like, come on, it's the middle of the night. And he was just like, okay, it doesn't matter. I'm still going. And he's just like, all right, I'm going to leave your ass. And he was just like, that's what I want you to do. And that was it.
Mm.
And when I'm gonna do my favorite moment earlier, I think my favorite moment is when Dean puts on dad voice and goes, "Do you hear me? I'll leave your rest. Do you hear me?"
Yeah, you did like that a lot.
I love the Dean dad voice because at the end of the day, like, Dean had to raise Sam in a lot of ways, so he has dad voice from having raised his little brother in a lot of ways. And I don't know, I really like that moment.
Yeah, you really did. So fast forward a little bit. We get to Dean calling Sam, and I was super interested in this until the end of the phone call, and then it took a complete right turn. Dean calls, or they're talking to each other, and Dean actually starts emoting. He's actually getting into it. You did what you need to do what you need to do. You've got to do what's right for you. I sometimes wish, and then he stopped. He's actually opening up.
Well, because he got choked up.
And yeah, exactly. Like he's capable of doing it. He may not be very good at it, but he's capable. And that got really, really interesting. I was like, hold on a second. All this no chick flick stuff. And all these moments where we see him stop before he won't dip his toe in the water. But you can tell that he cares, but he does it kind of in his own way. This like macho element. But then he'll put it aside, and this time he was actually doing it. He was actually saying the things. I'm really proud of you. I wish I had the courage. He's basically saying, I wish I'd had the courage to do what you did, which was what's right for you. Yeah. But then they got to the end of it. I was like, man, I can't wait to talk about this on the mic. And then Sam heard he was saying goodbye. I was like, oh, damn, that just changed all of this. That just changed every single bit of this. So I'm curious if it hit you the same, if you felt it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I felt anytime the boys have little chick flick moments and heart to hearts and sharing and caring, it was always a moment for the Winchester boys fandom. Those were the scenes that you watched over and over again because you're just like, oh, they're finally saying things. They care about each other.
Boys don't do that.
But I think with you'll find that with Dean, he won't emote until it's kind of dire. In this case, he left his brother on the side of the road.
Yeah.
And and he wants to make sure that his little brother knows that he loves him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I understand what just happened, but like, you're still my brother and I still love you. And he's not going to say it like that because he's still Dean. He's not going to be like, you're still my little brother and I still love you. Like, he's not going to say that. And he didn't, and neither one of them says, like, Sam, I just want you to, me too. That's what we got. Like, there was no actual words.
Which I like that better. I like that better as far as the writing, as far as the show
No.
choosing this route. It was a show don't tell. You can write out the dialogue, but we don't talk that way, especially if we're emotionally involved in a situation. I mean, we people in general, we never say exactly what we mean.
Well, sometimes we do. Those that are more comfortable sharing feelings do. That's the thing. And these boys aren't. They don't.
True. I think if even if you're emotionally wound up about a situation, if you're emotionally charged, super happy, super pissed, whatever the case might be, the way that you'll say it, it changes. It's going to be a bit different.
Sure. I mean, I'm not saying that this was not... I mean, I think that this was... The way that they wrote this is true to the boys.
Yeah.
But I also think there's definitely people out there that would like, listen, Sam...
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry about what happened. Like, I still really care about... Of course I care about you and whatever. Like, there are people that will just say that.
Exactly. And the part that I'm making is that if you're saying it somebody, like, we're just in a moment, we're talking to each other... We're in a place where we've been getting all this stuff out, as opposed to being completely emotionally overwhelmed. We're coming off of a really high charged situation, like maybe we're leaving a funeral, or we just had a horrific experience on the road, on a road trip or something like that. If it gets super, super charged, even you, who is a very, very high emotional intelligence person, and also very good with your words, you'll still say it differently if you are super emotionally charged. And I think this is their version of it. I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
That this was written very well for the boys.
Uh-huh.
But I think this is the closest that we're going to get for Dean being emotionally charged. Now, tell me this, though.
For now, yeah.
For now, yeah. Obviously, he's still 26, and we got to get him to apparently 40. This is over with. Was he saying goodbye because he didn't think he was going to see Sam again? Or was he saying goodbye because he thought the Scarecrow was going to be his last run?
No, I think he was saying goodbye in terms of, like, go do your own thing. You've got my blessing, basically. Yeah. And like, I understand that you're going your own way. We're going our separate ways.
Yeah. Do
what you need to do.
Okay.
As opposed to, I'm waiting for you to turn around this corner because you better come back with your tail between your legs, or, or any of those things, or like, you better get your ass back here, No,
my first impression of it was that Dean thought that the Scarecrow might take him out.
Oh, I don't.
Dean was thinking this was his last mission.
No, not at all.
Yeah, in retrospect, I'm agreeing with you. He's supporting Sam in his need to go. I don't know when I'm going to see you again. I may never see you again. But my first impression in the moment was that. So I just wanted to be sure. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, no, the boys don't tend to think that they're going to die, like, ever. They just always think they're going to be able to figure it out.
Well, they eventually thought that Dad might have been dead. They mentioned it in a passing thought.
Yeah, but then Dean said no.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like,
absolutely.
He's like, screw that, Matt.
No. Soldier does not go down. Yeah, so I thought that was really, really cool in a neat way. And they did it over the phone also, which was a whole other layer of making it possible.
Yeah, because we all know that it's sometimes easier to say things like that over text or over phone.
Right.
Yeah, rather than face to face. Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about Meg for a minute. Let's talk Meg. hanging out in the bus station cafe, I guess. I don't know. We don't know where they were when they were killing time for 24 hours. But whatever it was, they had a place to get food, and they had two long necks. So I thought it was really interesting. And it seems like he opened up a bit, but not entirely, which is kind of what I would expect. But when he was getting ready to turn around and go back, I'm wondering if you caught it. Meg almost word for word presented him with the exact same situation of what he chose 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Did you catch that?
Well, yeah, she's trying to goad him. Yeah.
Yeah, but she's like, hey, come to California with me. We're doing our life our way. Mm-hmm. And then he said, I have to go back because they're family.
Yeah.
So he legitimately flipped what he did 4 years ago. Instead of going to California to get away from his family, to get his own life. Yeah. Remember her toast. It may be weird, it may be crazy, but at least we're doing our own life.
Yeah.
He was presented with what's looked to be the exact same choice, and he chose opposite. He went and chose family. He went into danger and even skipped California. I don't think that was an accident if they put that in there.
I think, I actually never thought about that it wasn't an accident that they chose California. But obviously the circumstances are different in this situation. I think when he left his family before, they were just doing their thing, going off together, hunting evil, and he's just like, all right, guys, you guys have fun. I'm leaving. Obviously, that's not how it actually went down, but he's still leaving dad and brother to go do their thing together. And now it's just his brother. And he said it to Dean, like mom and Jess are gone, and dad is who knows where. He's basically gone too. All we've got left is you and me. And I think that changes how you view going off to live your own life and leaving your family versus going off and living your own life and leaving back, in theory, the only family you have left, your brother. And, obviously they both love their dad and everything, but, your brother, these brothers, for better or worse, went through it together. And it's going to be a very different relationship that they have with each other versus what they have with their dad. And I think for both of them, dad obviously is very important to them, but if they were forced to choose between dad and brother, they would choose brother. And not to mention the fact that dad would be like, you better choose your fucking brother. But I think at the end of the day, it's like he's not ditching his family, he's ditching his brother, specifically his brother.
Yeah. And it was 4 years ago. It was completely different. Yeah, I get the differences. Yeah. I loved seeing the parallel as well.
Yeah.
And then they always do seem to tie in this second layer of the same lesson. The adopted Emily getting picked up by her aunt and uncle and the family thing, and she dropped a couple of hints in there too. It was like, oh man, this is hitting Dean right where they're at because their family just split. So I thought that was really interesting, very cool. But Meg, I didn't trust Meg.
Yeah, you've picked up on that pretty quick.
Yeah, she seems sketch from the very beginning. I mean, she's got this happy-go-lucky. Maybe she's something that could appeal, could draw Sam in, but I don't know. There was a whole lot of conveniences that just didn't have me winning over. A couple hours later, they meet each other hitchhiking, and then a couple hours later, they run into each other at the bus station. I don't know. It seemed a bit too convenient for me.
Super sus.
Super sus. Yes, exactly. But yeah, did pick up on her being a little bit off. She's not just a day player.
Mm-hmm.
But did not see it coming.
Actually, first female character that isn't just there for the episode. I mean, obviously.
Except for Mom. Mary was in 2. Yeah, 1 living and 1 dead. It counts. It counts.
No, I don't think so. I think Meg gets the trophy of first female reoccurring character.
Well, she hasn't actually recurred yet, but I'm just gonna make the assumption.
But she will, yes.
So that way you don't get in trouble for spoiling again. Yeah.
You're not funny.
No, but the thing, the way that they did the ending, I'm skipping the monster ending. This was a 2-part ending. They did the end of the Monster of the Week,
Mm-hmm.
which was like an abridged Monster of the Week, and it was sandwiched into the story arc. Yeah, that was actually kind of slick. I knew as soon as she said, "Look, why don't we pull over?" Like, okay, well, she's about to start some shit. Didn't know what it was, but yeah, I thought that was a little bit weird. It does bring up a whole lot of questions. That means that somebody is actively going against the brothers. Somebody's actually pursuing and kind of hunting them in some kind of capacity.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like she's trying to get them to go somewhere or do something, but it seems like it's a little bit more of a passive. Like if she was actually trying to hunt them,
Yeah.
she would have laid Sam out and inverted him on that road.
Well, she said, this doesn't make any sense. I could have taken them. Hell, I could have taken them both.
Yeah, exactly. So there's
Yeah.
something in here, and she's in some kind of communication with something nasty that communicates through blood goblets.
Blood goblet. The funny thing about the blood goblet is it kind of just goes away after many seasons. Like,
What in the?
it just goes away. They don't need the blood goblet anymore in like years from now. They can just communicate like normal people.
Well, this was like the same thing as Fringe. Remember Fringe when they had the metamorphosis guys and they had the thing inside their mouths, and that's what they had to do the whole transformation thing. It was this whole nasty process. And then the next season, they're just like, nope, he just goes around a corner for a second and then he mutates.
Well, and also
Fine.
Going between the worlds was like something impossible. And all of a sudden it's just like, oh no, you just go.
You just got to go in that room, around, go into the hall to the right.
Exactly.
They'll scan you, that you can walk through. Yeah,
exactly. The blood goblet is one
The
of those
blood goblet.
things. The blood
It was a
goblet.
cool little effect, though. Like the sound waves kind of bumping through in these little blood spikes.
Is that what you saw it as? I always thought they were like bone spikes or something. I never really knew what they were, but I was like, what is that in there?
Well, the way she was holding it, it looked like she was about to punch bowl that shit. And then she sticks her finger in it. I thought she was about to war paint her face.
Ooh.
And then she just starts talking to it. So Meg is not trustworthy.
Well, clearly.
100%.
She has killed
I did not
Shady
trust
Van
her.
Guy, number 2.
Yeah.
She probably killed Shady Van Guy number 1,
Well, she said she
actually.
cut him loose.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Put that connection too. Yeah. I was like, I see what
Lots
you
of
did
Shady
there.
Van Guys in this episode.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you got a guy in a van, it's automatically. They've taught us
Well,
since we were small children.
when the first guy picked her up and they went and pick up Sam, he's like, I'm not taking you. And you're like, that's sexist. I was like, well, obviously he's gonna pick up the girl, but also, and he was like, yeah, that's sexist. I was like, yeah, but she also could like die, like be killed.
You're anti-spoiling behavior. I'm on to you.
Well,
She could have been killed.
well. The funny thing is, when I said that, I was like,
That dude was probably, yeah, exactly.
she probably killed him.
You think you're good at it. Yeah, he's probably open for
But no, legitimately, so many women have been killed hitchhiking.
Sure. Yeah. No men have ever been killed hitchhiking.
Yeah, like, stay sexy and don't hitchhike, friends, because, like,
Yeah, just walk to the bus station instead.
that's
You're
like,
safer
that's
there.
a way to that's general, just don't do it. You're gonna get killed.
So, don't trust Meg, expecting to see her again. It is an interesting thing. Like, I'm wanting to see more. I'm assuming something demonic, especially because JDM gave us
That's
this
true.
is a
It's
demon.
It's a demon.
So
Yep.
I'm wondering if there's a correlation. You've got to assume in at least part 1 or option 1 that he's coming onto them, so they're coming after him. This is like a one-party chasing one-party team. Kind of.
Yeah.
Or it's just so much bigger. There's such a huge organization here that it's just sheer coincidence that he's chasing after evil thing over here, and there's another evil thing that's coming after the boys.
Well, I will tell you this: the thing, whatever it is, person, thing, animal, whatever,
The meg of it all.
the blood goblet person,
Oh, okay.
person thing
Blood
that
goblet.
she was talking to is probably my favorite villain of the whole series.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's also a big shout out to Eric Kripke, right? Because 2 of my 3 favorite villains are working together and in the first 5 season story arc. So it's a huge testament to him that in 15 seasons, 2 villains that are working together are 2 of my very favorite out of the entire series.
I am super curious about where the Meg thing is going. Is this she work for him? Are they partners? Are they tagging up because they can't take on the brothers? It seems like she's taking orders. Because it feels like the way that she's talking, she's being restrained. She's being held back. At least by her perspective, she is.
Yeah.
She feels like she can take them both. Okay.
Probably
Then
can.
what the hell are you? 'Cause they're not going to give you a ride. And it's not going to be that easy. So yeah, the Meg, I'm waiting for that piece to come back around. Although I'm kind of disappointed her name's not May. That I'm kind of excited about that. Okay, so let's talk about the actual ending, the monster ending. I
wasn't as upset about it as you were.
Well, I mean, what? That girl would have been perfectly fine. Like, nothing would have happened. If they had done nothing. Emily, that's her name, Emily.
What do you mean?
Nothing happened. They didn't do anything. They didn't save anybody.
The people were out there in order to prevent her from leaving. So if they hadn't have left that area, the thing could have taken Dean and Emily.
Except it only would have been a 50-50 chance that they'd taken Dean and Emily. Because that couple was still out there.
No.
In the forest, making sure they stayed there.
Oh, well, yeah, no, I don't think so.
See, it was a 50-50 shot.
No.
I would have loved for them to have played into it a little bit, because this is presumably the first time that the town is in this orchard, anywhere in proximity of the tree, because they said, we can hear the screams and everything. That implies they were far away. They would have played into that at all. But I don't know. It was just...
I don't know. I didn't have an issue with
Deus Ex Sam just shows up and unties everybody. Conveniently timed, walking back from who knows where, Illinois.
He stole a car.
Yeah, he did.
That's my boy.
Yeah, no.
I loved that line. It was another dad line.
But then he
loved it.
Magically shows up. And every single time the Scarecrow came down, it was always very, very short. So this is a really tiny window of time that Sam just conveniently shows up, doesn't cross paths with a Scarecrow in any kind of capacity, gets them down, they're all running away, they get surrounded by the town folk, which, either way, what kind of cornfields are they running out here? Because I did this during the episode, too. The couple, he comes in with the shotgun. He says, go back to your car. They start running in, you would assume, the direction of their car. He fires, starts following them, and they all come out at his car.
Well, because they followed the path he came in on, and he came from his car.
He came in from the side.
No.
They went back. He came in from the side. 100%. We can go back and check it after the episode.
But
then secondly, they're walking through this huge orchard, and they end up walking into the center of the circle of the 4 people that live in this town.
I think I have zero issues with anything.
Field.
You're
huge.
We at times we bump on the same things. I am not at all bumping on this. But also I want to point out that when Aunt May, is it May? Aunt May?
I thought Meg was May.
Yeah,
so you can't ask me. I'm not credible.
I think it was Aunt May and Uncle Harvey. When Aunt May says, "There's no other choice. There's nobody else," and I'm just like, are there only you people, the council? Are you the only people that live in this town?
No,
like, what?
I know. It was... See, this is what I mean. Like, it was a pretty shallow Monster of the Week, in my opinion.
I thought the Scarecrow was really cool, actually. And that it came from, like, pagan lore. I think that was really cool.
Yeah, they got it from way out, like, this Norse god, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I was really bothered by the resolution.
You really...
All I had to do is sit it down and it resolved itself.
I had no issues with it. But
it did hit me with one question that I could not quite figure out. The missing person, Dean was walking around with the 2 printouts, right? With the missing persons. He's asking the townsfolk, hey, the yokels, hey, have you guys seen these people? Do they have a tattoo? Yes, they had a tattoo. He had the same tattoo as the Scarecrow.
Uh-huh.
What's that all about? This is just whatever couple comes through on the cycle gets sent out to be sacrificed, right? What's the correlation?
I think the male of the couple becomes the new Scarecrow.
So does that mean that this tattoo was not the symbol that was on the tree? Because it was a symbol, but we couldn't see it well enough. So
it's just a random tattoo, and that's how Dean identified the Scarecrow as the guy who had been gone missing, aka killed.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. But then they just had him sitting there staring at the Scarecrow that was breathing while Dean was up on the ladder.
Well, that's another iconic Dean line. Dude, you Fuggly. Remember when Fuggly was a thing?
We should bring Fuggly back.
For the children out there, for the children out there who might not know what it means it's a shorthand way of saying fucking ugly.
Yeah.
Fuggly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were really, really creative with our lingo back in the day.
Who knows, at this point we could get canceled for that.
No.
I don't know, man.
No.
Well, I think we should
Don't
try
try
to bring
to-
it back.
Don't try to make fetch happen. That's another reference
Another
the
one.
children won't know.
Fetch and Fuggly. Okay, that's official.
Maybe that's the name of the episode.
I was literally
Fetch and
thinking
Fuggly.
I'm going to make notes
Fuggly
on
and
that one.
Fetch.
Just needs to be the name of that episode. Yeah. Okay. Most favorite, least favorite. Unless you've got more. I was just disappointed at the ending, and I wanted to get that. The end of the episode was good.
I think my
Monster was-
favorite is still the Dean dad moments. Like, you hear me? And that's my boy. Those are my favorites. My honorable mention is the introduction of my favorite. No, because that's a bit of a spoiler. One of my 3 favorite villains of the series.
You caught it. I'm proud of you.
Well, I was just talking about gender, so
I
was like-
appreciate it. I appreciate it.
it's like
The
male
tracky listeners also appreciate
male versus female.
Okay. Well, least favorite. You didn't do least.
Oh,
You had multiple favorites, which is
least
great.
Favorite.
While you're thinking about it,
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
embarrassment. I was laughing whenever Dean was in the cafe talking to the couple.
Uh-huh.
And they said, "Oh yeah, they saved her life." Yeah, he said, "Yeah, I noticed our brake line was leaking." I could have sworn he said he told us that our brake lights were leaking, which was absolutely hysterical to me. Like, okay, so not only do they have to find a male-female couple, but they have to find male-female idiot couples because your brake lights are leaking.
You tried to convince me of that at some point. I don't remember why you tried to convince me of that.
Not brake lights, headlight fluid.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That's
And I was
what it was.
like, you're an idiot. I'm not an idiot. Like, it's like, you're an idiot to think that I'm that much of an idiot.
Well,
I was like,
I had-
I don't know much about cars, but I do know that. I'm not an idiot. Like, my God. Who do you think I am? My goodness. I think,
I bought you some time.
my least favorite might be how much they laid it on thick that Dean was just like completely lost and incapable of talking to people without Sam. Yeah, they laid it on a little bit too thick for me. I understand that they were trying to be like, oh, Dean needs his brother and that brothers need to be together. And I agree with that. They do.
They needed to create a void.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, oh gosh, I have another favorite moment though. When Dean emotes and they have on the phone and he's like about to cry and
Yeah.
that's a good one too.
Yeah, that was cute.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that was good. Least monster ending.
Okay.
It was just
Okay, we got it. Favorite?
just no. Favorite was JDM, man.
Oh.
Jeffrey
Well,
Morgan.
that tracks because other episodes, your least favorite's been no
Yeah,
JDM.
so exactly. See, it's becoming predictable, but come on, he was there. He was actually talking to them.
I know, like actually,
He was
not leaving, not an
engaging.
unknown number text message.
He was still super cryptic, and I can't tell you anything, but he was at least a little bit more open with, I can't tell you what's going on. I'm
Yeah,
working
it's not
on it. I'm
safe.
getting close.
It's not
They
safe.
at least know he's alive. They at least know he's corporeal. Like, who knows what else might be.
Well, and he gave him
They're
some sort of
wild.
explanation, which is it's not safe.
Yeah.
It's not safe for you.
They
It's not
got-
safe
yeah.
for any of us.
They
Like,
got
that's why.
some bits of closure
Yeah.
with that conversation. You know, at least we know a little bit. At least
And-
we know he's okay. That kind of stuff is a big deal.
And also, we got to see John Winchester's version of telling his son that he loves him, which is, "I would have done anything to protect you from that
Mhm.
of Jessica dying."
Very pragmatic.
Yeah, I would have done
very, very
anything to protect you
pragmatic.
from that.
Yeah. Yeah. And he did get the I'm sorry part. I'm actually looking super, super forward to how they're establishing this binary dynamic between the two brothers. I'm assuming at some point that either other allies or Jeffrey D. Morgan or I guess I can start calling him John. I'm going to try. But they're going to integrate him and there's going to be this triad which is going to alter the dynamics. I can't wait to see what happens. Maybe not alters their dynamics, but our perception of it.
Well, I
How
mean,
we see them
you.
is going to change.
Let's be real. We already know that there's going to be a third person that comes in because your brother's favorite character in the series.
I am not recalling that, so I'm going to leave it alone.
Castiel.
Oh yeah, that name rings a bell. There was a lot of that stuff, like, I don't let it in because I know we're doing this, and it's
Okay.
hard, but I would have completely forgotten that name until it appeared, whenever it appears. But I know they're going to work with other people. I know they're going to have other allies because they've already done this with Missouri, and they keep showing us and telling us indirectly that this is a bigger thing than you think. It's a bigger thing than just these two guys and these random, mysterious things that wander around until they get caught by the Winchester brothers. There's more to it than that. But whenever John comes back in, I'm excited to see what it does to the dynamic. This kind of becomes an ensemble cast at that point. That's my assumption. So,
ensemble cast. Wow.
And yeah.
Okay.
Ensemble casts are my favorites.
Well,
just let it go. You don't have to contribute if it's the future. The look on your face. You're torturing me.
But you're talking about the future.
Yeah, I am talking about the future, not knowing.
Well, speaking of the future, the next episode is...
We got Faith.
Which is another really good one. What do you think Faith is about?
Well, the cornfield and I... No, wait, we already did that one. Faith. Demons. I'm going with demons.
I'm sorry, I have to tell you.
No, you don't.
I do.
You do not.
Literally
Leave
the opposite.
Leave it alone. You just can't help yourself.
Faith? You go with demons?
Yes.
Okay.
Demons are fallen angels, babe.
They're not, actually.
Yes, they are.
Lucifer is a fallen angel.
And the demons are fallen angels.
They're not.
Okay. Well, we're going to have to do a corrections corner next week starring Stephanie.
No, you're going to have to do a corrections corner in later seasons when you find out that demons are not fallen angels. They are humans.
Here we go.
They are. I don't know what to tell you. That is absolutely what they are. They are humans.
Well, we're going to have to come back around to this next time.
I can't wait for you to eat your words.
All right, well then, let's go get to it. Well, we ended up being just slightly shorter today.
Yeah, interesting. There was a lot going on in this episode. I was a little surprised.
Yeah, I know.
The brothers, they broke up. They got back together. That sounds way dirtier than I wanted it to.
Yeah, but it's okay. I think it's going to be good. I'm excited about it. Getting to the next one, and this puts us actually officially at the halfway point of the season, too. Wow. We're booking.
Well, that's why I think that the rest of the... I told you, I think it was last week, where I said the rest of this season is just like heavy hitters, like so many really good ones. And that's probably why, because they're like, okay, we got to...
We can start moving this thing along.
We've introduced how these boys operate with all the Monster of the Weeks. Now we have to, like, get this story arc going along. So
we do want to get continued, don't we? We want to get a contract.
Yeah, we don't want to just be... Scooby-Doo every week.
I mean, they hit it. Then once they started with the big story, they started going pretty hard.
Yeah.
Which I like.
Well, they do have to move it along. It can't just be Monster of the Week every week.
True.
So
true. Yeah. Well, in that case, let's wind it down. And we'll come back next time, talk about some faith.
You gotta have faith. You gotta have faith. You gotta have faith, faith, faith.
I was going to leave it running.
Do you get bonus points if you know who's singing that song?
Oh, who?
Yeah. Do, do, do.
Yeah, I know the song. I'm just terrible at artists.
Da, 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 da.
I don't know.
Pretty sure it's George Michael.
I was going to say George Michael, but I didn't want to sound stupid.
I mean, let's see if we need a corrections corner, but I'm pretty sure it is George Michael.
I'm looking this
Oh,
up.
man, he's got to Google.
I'm looking.
We got to do it in real-time corrections corner.
Yep, real-time correction.
Oh, boy.
Faith Evans sang the song again. We're going to have to corrections.
If I could
Oh, go ahead, keep singing while I look it up.
Body has got a body like you.
Baby.
There you go. We are not singers, ladies and gentlemen.
I know Limp Bizkit did a really damn good cover of it.
We are musicians who mostly can sing in key.
It was George Michael.
Thank you very much.
He did it the first time, Limp Bizkit did it the second time.
Yeah, well, the original's better.
There was a good remix, though.
Anyway, very long intro, though, I gotta say.
Yeah, that's true.
We're getting a little off the rails here. So,
That's the joy of it.
just remember that the driver picks the music, especially if it's Faith by George Michael.
If Shotgun Shuts is K. Cole, but I didn't know you could change the quote.
You do.
All right, well then I guess we will see you next time.
You know what I just realized?
Oh my goodness,
That
we're never
quote,
getting out of here.
That quote, it's only been 54 minutes. That quote is, I'm rewatching, so I'm kind of the driver, and you're you're shotgun. And then when we go to Star Trek, I'll be shotgun.
So you're telling me I need to shut my K. Cole?
You
Think through it.
You said that.
All right, fine. Well,
Does anybody else's Siri just
Siri's
always
the
hear?
guest star.
Yeah, Siri just be popping in all the time. I said ADHD earlier, and she's like, "Yes."
No, the Alexa in the refrigerator started talking.
Oh, that was Alexa,
Yeah.
the refrigerator. Okay,
We never even knew it.
we have a smart refrigerator, guys. Don't worry about it.
We're not fancy. It just came with the apartment.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get out of here.
All right, 5th outro. We're done.
Have an amazing morning, day, night, whatever time you're listening to this. Leave comments below. Bye.
Bye.